Hello and welcome to Getting It Done, a podcast about music, education, and life lessons. I'm your host, Tim Rausenberger, and today is Thursday, March 28th, 2019. This is episode 263, Motivation Through Failure. Well, hello to everyone out there, and welcome to another exciting podcast episode of Getting It Done. Thank you so much, all of you, for tuning in tonight. We appreciate your support as always. I would love to see lots and lots of chatting here. Hopefully, I haven't seen any chatting here at the moment. Let's see if we've got any chatting. Let's see what we've got going on. Live chat. Let's take a look here. Oh, there we go. There's all the chat. I didn't see it. I only saw my own chat there. So we're still learning as we go along. Welcome to everyone to this incredible episode, Motivation Through Failure. So tonight's episode is going to be a little different, but I think every episode is a little bit different that we do here at Getting It Done. Hopefully by now you've already given me a thumbs up. You've given the channel a thumbs up. Hopefully you've already subscribed. You've given a nice like. You've shared it with other people. Come on, go and get a friend, get a family member, someone on here so they can check out this incredible episode and all the amazing things that we're going to learn together here tonight. Tonight we are going to be giving away 2 different gift cards. As always, we give away our Amazon gift card. And yes, we have something a little different tonight. I don't know what it said. I'm not sure what I put in there, but this is what we're going with tonight. We are going old school. That's right. Old school right there. McDonald's gift card, $10 McDonald's gift card. Had to do the old school sign. I like them better anyway. That's just me. So that is great. Want to give a few shout outs. I have some people here that are just some great supporters, some new listeners that we have here. A big shout out for Alice. Give it up for Alice. Let's do this right now. Give it up for Alice. Give her some love for doing such a great job as always each and every week. Ian does say a big hello. He says hello to everyone out there, and he hopes to be back in the very near future. He has a very, very busy music and concert schedule going on with his life at the moment. So we have our returning people here, our usual guests, Sean Stella Hearts, Sparkle Lust, Just Nice. Esther is with us again tonight. We have, I have a new one here. I don't think I've seen Official Lala before. So hello to you. Good to see you here tonight. Let's see if we have anyone else. And I will do the best to try to hit all these different people as we go along throughout the course of the evening. So let's get right to it. Motivation through Failure. First of all, let's take a look at some different types of quotes. So there are a lot of different quotes, and I apologize because I like to think that I have a lot of these quotes memorized, but I don't. And some of them are very, very profound, and I want to make sure to hit you with ones that are really meaningful. So the first thing that we need to know about failure, and this is so critical, and I'm going to type this in here because I learned this myself. It's something that I knew, but it's something that I, at the same time, even though I knew it, I never actually said it to anyone before. And it's something that I want to say to you. I'm not going to take credit for it, even though he himself may have not quoted it, but this is Prince EA. And I think he's someone worth mentioning. And I'm going to type his name out. I encourage you to check out his podcasts. He is something else, or I shouldn't say podcasts, his YouTube episodes. He is a tremendous individual spreading a really positive message all around. And wow, his videos have made a profound impact on my students. So Prince EA, one of the things that he said, which is so critical that we need to know, and you need to get this ingrained in your brain now. Right now, you have to get this ingrained in your brain. Failure is an event. Failure is an event. Failure does not go with person. So in other words, a person is not a failure. You are not a failure. No one is a failure. You may have a series of events that happen in your life which may lead to some different forms of failure, but that does not mean that you are a failure. So that's really important to establish right from the beginning. So first off, let's get that out here. So failure is an event. Failure, or we should say a person, is not a failure. So let's establish that right from the get-go. And I think that that's really important because the lessons I'm going to share with you tonight, to be perfectly honest with you, a lot of them have come about in recent years. And here I am, my birthday's in a few days. And yeah, I know I'm going to be 25. Yeah. No, 26, just kidding. So, I went through so much of my life, and I thought at times that I had failed at things, when in reality, I was just learning from them. And the way we have to look at any type of failures that occur in our lives to help motivate us is by using them as stepping stones, as building blocks to the foundation, where you get stronger and stronger and stronger. That's really, really what this is all about. It's really, really key. So if we take, for instance, let's take a quote by Lance Armstrong. Now, Lance Armstrong may not always be the best person to use because, of course, he had his own situations and he had his own failures after all of his successes, in which he was indicted in, as we may know, in a doping scandal. But Lance Armstrong is a very, very famous cyclist, bicycle rider, and he won the Tour de France many times. And one of his things that he says is, pain is temporary, quitting lasts forever. So pain is temporary, quitting lasts forever. So he's applying that probably more towards the sports and more towards the no pain, no gain type of mantra, which is great. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, if you quit and you just give up, it lasts forever. Classic case I can give you. I had some students who were interested in auditioning for something at my school. And one of the students made the decision in the end, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And it's unfortunate because the person never gave themselves a chance, and we'll never know if that person, I'm not going to say it was a he or a she, but they're never going to know if they really could have made it into this particular event. So if you don't try, you're never going to know. So certainly there's a failure within not trying at all. That's really, really key. And I think that that's something that's very, very important. If we take another quote here, I'm just looking from a slew of them. So Oprah Winfrey, you'll see the one quote that I have for Oprah with this particular episode, but I'm going to give you another one of hers. She says, "I don't believe in failure. It is not failure if you enjoyed the process." How true. How incredibly true. And I look at so many moments in my life, and if you think about things that you've done yourself, where you have had, it's been a very, very tough go of it, and things have not always gone your way, just knowing that you got through the process and you got through it unscathed, unharmed, just going through the process is the biggest part of the battle. And once you get through that, that's no failure. That's a success because you stuck it out. You really made it happen. I made it a mission. I said to myself that before I ever leave the United States, yes, it's true. I must confess, I've never left the United States, but there's a reason though. After I hit age 40, I know it's shocking to believe. I'm so youthful. Ding. Um, you know, when I was after the age of 40, I made the decision. I said, I have to see this country. I have to see this country before I go and visit other countries. And I made it a point, and I said that I am going to tour the United States. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't care what has to happen. And there were lots of things that I never got to experience, lots of things I didn't get to see. But then again, I look at a lot of things that I did get to experience. And I think of all the different places that were unexpected places. One of my favorite of all time, Little Bighorn Battlefield in Montana. Life-changing experience. Totally altered everything about my being. And I learned so much about American history. What an incredible experience being right there on the battlefield. And I spent a lot more time than I expected. But I didn't get to some other places that I wanted to go to. So is that a failure? I don't think so. I think that was a rather successful trip. And I think of that particular venture like, wow, that was pretty remarkable. It's pretty amazing that I was able to be there and live that moment. And that was a very, very special moment in time. All right, let's take a look at some other ones we have here of other ones having to do with failure. Okay. F. Scott Fitzgerald says, in any case, you must not confuse a single failure with a final defeat. So what does that mean? We don't want to take just one thing that's gone wrong and say we're defeated. I have a student who this evening was devastated to find out that one of her close friends is not going to be around much longer. And what I mean by that is she's not passing away, because that's what may have come to your mind at first. No. She's not passing away. Unfortunately, she's going to be moving. And she was really upset about this. And what I said to her immediately is, but think of the connection that the two of you made with each other, and think about the incredible bond. Think about that remarkable friendship that the two of you have. And we're in 2019. If it was 1979, I lost friends. When I was 6, when I was 7, when I was 8 years old, I lost friends. Why did I lose friends? Because I lost touch with them. And through the wonders of things like Facebook, I was able to reconnect 20 years later, 30 years later. That's not fun. I mean, it's great to be able to reconnect, but think of all the years I never got to be able to grow with that person and to be with that person. You're all so lucky now these days. Not everyone of all ages. You can always connect with your friends. You can always FaceTime if you have an iPhone, or any other types of ways that you can do some type of, look at this. You're able to see me right here. How amazing is that? It's fantastic, this technology. And I'm not even pixelated. This is some pretty good real time we got going on here, thanks to my friends at YouTube. So that's a pretty amazing thing that we're able to do this here in 2019. And years ago, we would lose touch with one another. So I said to the student, I said, don't look at it as being a failure, and don't look at it as being defeated, and don't think of it as the sky is going to come crumbling down. That's absolutely not true at all. And I have to just quickly say, I think this is so critically important, because I have to give a big shout out. It's happening right now, and I'm typing it, to Esther. And the reason I'm giving a big shout out to Esther tonight, because Esther is responsible for the name of tonight's podcast. And it is because of the amazing support of people like Esther, who come out each and every single week and tune in, and I listen. And she said, why don't you do something? You're a motivational type of person. Why don't you do an episode like that? And I said, wow, wouldn't that be fantastic to do an episode and shape it around one of the things that we have in our lives, which is failure. Now, another word which we want to try to overcome is fear. And that's difficult. It's very tough to overcome fear, because fear in a lot of cases is tied into failure. The failure to follow through with something. And why may you not follow through? It's because you have fear. We're scared of the unknown. We don't like the unknown. We want to know the answers to things. We don't want to be guessing. If it's left to guesswork, we're not interested in that. People are resistant to change. They don't like change. They want to keep things the way they are. And to that, I say, no, absolutely not. You need to go for it. Whatever you want to do with your life and whatever your ambitions are, you need to go for it. And if you fail, it's okay. And you pick yourself up and you try again. Because as Les Brown has said so many times, if you can look up, you can get up. And never forget that. That's so incredibly important. If life knocks you down, if you can look up, you can get up. So we need to keep that in mind. We want to keep this positive tonight. This is not going to be all about failures. Oh, yeah, I'm going to tell you about mine tonight. You're going to hear all about them. I'm going to take you right through my life here and tell you all about the different failures and how I was able to overcome them. We're going to get to that. We're going to kind of bookend things tonight. We're going to do the quotes. I'm going to give you a few more quotes. I'm going to talk a little bit about my own experience, then add some more quotes. By 7:40 tonight, I'm going to take all of your questions. Please be patient. I'm going to do everything I can to get to all of your questions about and really focus on it. What should I do in this situation? I'm having a hard time getting motivated. I feel that I've failed so many times. Give me your situation. And some of you, it might be, if it's too personal and you don't feel like whoop. If you don't want to share it in the chat, then please feel free to contact me directly. I'll be happy to help you to the best of my ability. All right, let's check out some more quotes here. I love this one. The next one that came up, and it comes from former President Barack Obama. You can't let your failures. We'll try that again. What's going on tonight? You can't let your failures define you. You have to let your failures teach you. So let's write that one out. You can't let your failures define you and define who you are. You have to let your failures teach you. And that can be really hard. That can be very hard, especially if you get knocked down really hard. And I've been there. I've been there before. So is Obama. He's been there before. And he had his own things that he went throughout his time before he was president, in trying to become a senator, and trying to become president when he was president. And you may or may not like him, and that's totally and completely fine. But one thing I can absolutely say, and you cannot deny this, is that the one thing we have to agree on with President Obama was he handled himself with dignity and with grace at all times. And that's difficult to do. The true hero handles stress under pressure. And that was said by Ernest Hemingway. That's a quote that I've always kept. True hero is able to handle stress when they're under pressure. And that's something I've always stuck with. Always stuck with that particular quote. Something that's so incredibly true. So let's take a look at a few more. So Michael Jordan. Love this one. Love it, love it, love it. I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I cannot accept not trying. And I can only imagine all the times that Jordan would be in the locker room with his teammates. And if they failed, then they failed. I have a hard time believing he ever got in anyone's case for failing, for not hitting a basket. I don't think that he ever got anyone's case for turnovers. Well, Jordan was competitive. He probably got in their case a little bit. But for clanking shots, it's going to happen. People are human. But if you don't try and you're not hustling and you're not busting it hard and pushing through, then you are not being truthful with yourself. You're not doing it. And that's not fair to you, and that's not fair to anyone else, especially not fair to people that count on you. And that's one of the reasons I take that so seriously as a teacher. My students count on me. And when I don't deliver, I feel like I let them down. And it's not acceptable to me. It's not acceptable. Well, you've done so much. Well, good. That's fine that I've done so much. But I hold myself to a higher standard. I was just saying to Alice before we started tonight's episode, I just said to her, she said, "Are you ready to go?" I said, "No." And she said, "What do you mean? You always do well with this." I said, "No, I hold myself to a high standard. I always feel that I can do better. I always feel that I have more to offer. I always feel I leave a podcast and I say, darn it, I have something that I wish I could have remembered to say." And there's only so much that we can do in this time that we have together. Speaking of which, on a side note, and I will just kind of say this little shameless plug here. If you are a parent or you're a teacher or an administrator, you're watching this right now, and you are interested in having me bring these messages to your school, bringing them to whatever type of atmosphere. I do all different types of public speaking events, things that are related to music education, things that are related to these motivational types of speeches. I just had a college recently book me, which I'm extremely excited about. I had a college that just recently booked me for 3 days. I'm going to be there for 3 days, and I'm going to be presenting to music education majors, and I'm extremely excited about it. So if you have an interest in having me, not just for 1 week or just from the podcast throughout the course of the week, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to work something out. And if at the very least I'm not able to come directly to wherever it is, maybe we can at least do a video chat of some sort. And of course, I am available for life coaching and things of that nature. So I just wanted to throw that out there because motivation is something I'm very passionate about. I look at all these different people that are in this chat, and I think about the ways that I have helped to motivate them, and I've been able to help them. But you know what? A lot of them have been able to help me too. I look at someone in here, Alice is a great example, and that's someone who's been able to help me with different types of things. But I look at someone like Rebecca. Hello, Rebecca. Great to see you again tonight. And her kind heart. She said to me earlier this week, "Well, what did I do? What did I do to deserve these nice compliments?" What did you do? You're a wonderful human being. That's what you did. You inspired me. you inspired me to make me feel wonderful. When I look at someone like Isabella, hello, Isabella. She doesn't want to be called Isabella. She wants to be called Bella. Bella is a very, very inspirational person. This is someone who always has something great to say and says, you should do this. Bella came up, by the way, I have to just say this. I'm going to type this in right now. Bella came up to me and said that I should do a podcast from my kitchen. Should that occur? Should I be doing a podcast from my kitchen? I don't know about that. I'm not so sure. I'm not the gourmet chef. Some people have said that I'm pretty good at cooking. I've gotten a little bit better. Wow, I'm getting yeses. This is not good. I do promise that we will have an episode that will be from my backyard in front of the waterfall. That is happening. I have a waterfall in my backyard. So we're going to have one podcast down the road when everything is in full bloom. All right, let's get back to the podcast here. All right, we're going to get a little more serious here. So we're going to talk a little bit as I take a little swig here of my iced coffee. Little Starbucks plug here. So I want to be a little more serious here and tell you a little bit about the different failures that I've encountered in my life. And I want you to learn from them. I want you to get something out of them. And I just want to get this up on the screen here. So I have this to help me out. There we go. Okay. So when I go back and I think about the different failures that I've had in my life, and I want you to be able to take something out of them because I'm going to go through different types of times in my life, going back to when I was younger. If I forget about all the really silly things that I did when I was in elementary school and middle school, I would consider my first big failure to be when I was a freshman in high school. And I was about 14 years old. And to be perfectly blunt, the thing that I did was it was beyond stupid. And it was something that hurt my father, which hurt me a lot because I'm very close to my father, and he's a good man. He's a really, really good man, and he's stuck with me throughout all these years for this one thing that I did. My mom and my dad have always been my rocks, and but what happened with my father, I had done something that was essentially going to cost him a lot of money. And we're not talking about like a few $100s, we're talking about a few $1,000s. It was a huge mistake that I made on my part. And in the end, the way that he handled it was he said, listen, you screwed up and you are going to pay me back this money that you owe me. And he said, you are going to be quitting your job as a paper boy and you're going to get a real job. That's what he said. So I started my first job when I was 14 years old. I worked in a store called Rickle Home Center. And that Rickle was a predecessor. I don't know if I should even say that, but they were a competitor of Home Depot. Now, Home Depot, obviously everybody knows Home Depot now, but Home Depot wound up essentially putting Rickle and some other stores out of business because of the model that they had with these gigantic warehouses. Well, when I worked in Rickle, though, it was really the same concept, and as Home Depot, just the stores were a little bit smaller. And when I was 14, I became a cashier, and I was very, very motivated because I really wanted to pay my dad back. Some of you may have heard of garnished wages before. This is what happens to people that do things that they shouldn't do. May involve child support, things of that nature, where the wages are pulled out of their paycheck and they don't have much of a choice. Well, it didn't quite work that way, but if I made about $100 in a week, I had to give money to my father. And I learned accountability pretty quickly that way. And some weeks it was $20, and some weeks it was $50. But he kept a running log, and he just had it there, and he would just keep on deducting. And it took me 2 years. He gave me as much time as I would need, and he made me pay him something every single week. And it wasn't like $5. So it motivated me because I wanted to give him as much as I could because I realized how much I'd messed up. But I also wanted money for myself. And as I got older, and I was, by the time I was 17 years old, I wanted money to put gas into my car so I could go out places and enjoy life and be able to enjoy and the maintenance involved with the car. So I had to work harder, and I worked through the ranks, and I became a head cashier, which is the person that's in charge of the cashiers for a particular shift. And I was kind of a supervisor too. I learned how to do scheduling in the store and eventually learned how to do payroll. I learned how to basically close up the store at the end of the night, which had to do with logging off all the registers, taking all the sales receipts. And before you knew it, I was doing just about every capacity in the store before the age of 18, without actually being the manager of the store. And I was making the lives of the people around me better. And it was great because they rewarded me. The company was very good to me, very, very good to me. And they always took good care of me. They always understood that people that work hard deserve to get rewarded. And they always did that. But with the thing that I always took out of this, the thing that always meant a lot to me, and the way that I knew that my failure was turning into a success, I did know it then, was I would be in the store and people would come up to me. They'd come up to me to ask me the questions. That was the greatest feeling in the world. I'm talking about questions having to do with lumber, having to do with electrical, plumbing, housewares, hardware, things that had to do with our inventory, things that were on sale. If something got messed up, they would come right to me because they knew the answer. And I was like the Energizer Bunny. I was all over the store. I loved it. I loved making people happy. And I started to realize, wow, this is actually something that I enjoy. Maybe I'm going to go into retail management. Who knows? Well, so I got accepted into college. Oh, not so quick. I got accepted into college after failures. Failures, that's right. We applied to 6 different colleges. Because I consider that to be a family process, because I didn't pay for the applications. My family was nice enough to do that. And they covered the fees for me. And I went to a college and I did well. I actually wound up getting accepted into that first college where I had auditioned. But the second college I went to was Wilkes University in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And I just connected. Everything about the college was just everything that I wanted and more. And I said, you know what? Even though I'm not going to be able to go to college as I really wanted to, why? Because I didn't do well my freshman year. This is why I get on the case of my freshman students to take care of your grades. TCB, take care of business. Don't put yourself in the hole like I did by failing. That's right. I failed 3 classes my freshman year. It messed me up. I had to take classes my following years. For instance, biology. I couldn't make it up in the summer. I had to take it again, and it was very embarrassing. I was a sophomore in a class with freshmen. That was a failure. That was not a fun experience at all, and I had to work through it. I got the same teacher back-to-back years, too. That wasn't supposed to happen, and that was unfortunate. But again, failures. The GPA in high school of only a 2.7. That was a lousy GPA. Was not good enough to get into school. I only had a 1090 on my SATs. I tried 3 times. Couldn't get better than a 1090. Couldn't crack that 1100. It hurt. But my failures led me to Wilkes, which I consider one of the greatest successes in the world, because I was in the right place at the right time. And let me tell you something. When I got into that school, I meant business. From day one, I never took a day off. I never took anything for granted ever again for the rest of my life, because I knew that my parents were shelling out some money, some cold, hard cash to support me. And I'll be darned if I was going to fail them again. It's not going to happen after all the time that I had to pay them back. And keeping in mind, of course, that I knew I was going to have some serious loans. So I get all the way through college. And I can't say that I had a failure in college, because I didn't have to withdraw from any classes. I didn't fail any classes. I had a few close calls for some tough ones, but I made it through. I had 1 class my senior year. Oh, this close to not graduating. And that'll be another story for another time. That close to not graduating. And boy, did I need some serious help from some serious angels at that school. And they came up big time to help me out. And you know what? That's what happens when you're a good person. You do good things for other people, the karma will work in your favor. It may not work right away. It will be there for you. You have to believe me on that. You have to trust me on that. It will come around. It may not seem, things may seem very, very bleak right now, but you have to trust me. So now I'm about to graduate from college. I'm graduating. I have on this hand a music education major where I have majored in instrumental music education, but also vocal music education. And on this hand, I have a voice performance degree. So my voice teachers, I had two of them, they were wonderful. They said to me, you know what? Find out where you're at. Apply to 4 graduate schools that have outstanding voice faculty. And I did. And I'm not ashamed to say where I applied. I applied to the Hart School, which is in Connecticut. I applied to Temple University. I applied to the Mannes School of Music, which is in New York City. And I applied to Eastman, which is up in Rochester, New York. I have nothing but wonderful things to say about all 4 schools. The audition process I went through in all 4 schools was nothing short of fabulous. They were fair. I know I got a fair shake in all situations. I know I could not have auditioned better than I did at any of those 4 schools. I had my best possible auditions. I did a great job. One of my favorite moments that I'm never going to forget as long as I live is being at the Mannes School. And I was in this teeny tiny little classroom. Oh my goodness, it was so small. There were 400 students packed in this teeny tiny little classroom. And I know it was not equipped to hold 400, maybe 50. But we were packed in there like sardines. And we had to do the music theory portion. Excuse me, the music, music theory portion was before. We had to do the ear training portion. And what that was we had to listen to the music that was being played, and we had to write out the music, note for note, perfect rhythms, perfect pitches. And I will not forget finishing round 1, and nobody left the room. Finishing round 2, and a bunch of people left the room. Finished round 3, and I swear more than half of the room evacuated out of there. And I said, I got this. I got this. I'm going to get accepted. Next thing you know, I look around me. There are only like 20 people left. I'm feeling great now because I know I had a great voice audition. And I am one of only 20 people left in the room, knowing that I got all those answers correct. And a few weeks later, I got a rejection letter from one of the schools. And then another. And then another. And then the last one came from Mannes. And I was crushed. That hurt. The Mannes one really, really hurt because I said to myself, why? Why did this happen to me? How could I have done so well? Was it because I didn't play piano well? And piano is important, by the way. If you're going to major in music, you got to have a clue on the piano. I didn't. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm saying to myself, was it because of my piano? Couldn't be because of my music theory. I smoked that ear training test, and I know I had a great audition. And you know what happened? The greatest thing happened. The schools did something I never expected them to do. Remember, my friends, we are not even in the age of email yet. We don't even have email at that point. This is back in 1995. Didn't exist. AOL came around like a year or two later. It was in its earliest stages. I didn't have a computer, though. Didn't own one throughout college. No computer. And they contacted me by letter, and they said, you give us a call. We'll go through your whole audition with you. Not just Mannes, but Eastman and the Hart School and Temple. All 4 of them. What class to sit down with me and to go through my audition and to say, you did nothing wrong. Did you hear what I just said? You did nothing wrong. You're not ready right now. Come back in a few years. I didn't want to hear that. They said, your voice isn't ready yet. What you're looking to accomplish in our program, your voice is not there yet. And here's the other thing you got to understand. When you don't get that job, when you don't get that opportunity, when you don't get that audition, you know what could happen? Someone might be better than you on that given day. You don't have any control over that. I say that to my bands, to my choruses all the time. When you go into a competition, you might play your heart out. You might sing your heart out. You know what? On that given day, there might be someone or some group better than you. You got to put your big boy and big girl pants on and accept it. That's life. Life isn't fair. Life's not supposed to be fair. Life is hard. If life was easy, everybody would be having an easier time. Life's tough. So you got to accept that. And you got to own it. And you got to realize that sometimes it's just not your day. And that's fine. That's totally and completely okay. So now what do? Now I apply for jobs. I can't get into school, so I guess I'm going to. And by the way, I want you to know this is. I will be the first to say this. I've said it many times before. I have never ever looked at teaching as a fallback occupation. I do not like people that look at it that way, and I definitely don't like people that say, "Well, don't go for performance or for something else. Become a music ed major as a fallback." That is baloney. Because the last thing that I want, I'll tell you right now, if I'm a parent, I'm not. But if I were a parent, though, I do not want my kids being taught by someone who treated their education as a fallback. That's baloney. Teaching's got to be in your blood. You got to want it. You got to love it. Because let me tell you something right now. If you're looking to make a lot of money in your life, teaching is not for you. If you want a stable lifestyle, if you want something that's going to be gratifying, where you're going to feel wonderful every single day, where I can look over at that chat right now and say, yeah, there are some incredible human beings right there in that chat right now. And I care about all of them. Yeah, that's why you go into teaching. But how did I become a teacher? Failure. I failed at interview after interview. I got interviews to 6 different school districts in the summer after I graduated. Do you know how many job offers I got? 0. I'll say that again in case you missed it. How many job offers did I get? 0. I got none. Do you know why? I couldn't interview. No. I was in for the interview, but I didn't know how to interview. People would say, okay, so they would give me this question, for instance. So tell me about yourself, or tell us about yourself. I didn't know how to answer the question. Well, I went to Wilkes University. I mean, my biggest problem is that I just keep on talking and talking and talking. And what I've been trying to do and work on through my life is to take my gift of gab and be able to harness it and not go off on these tangents. I go off on these things all the time. And I was terrible at that in interviews. And I bored the people to death because the things I was talking about weren't important in relation to me as a candidate and for their job. Because you got to go in and sell yourself. And then they would ask me, so what would you do in this classroom full of children? How do I not know how to answer that question? I didn't know about classroom management. Are you kidding me right now? That's going to be a guaranteed question. I didn't know how to answer it. I didn't get a job out of college. I applied to 150 schools. 150 rejections. Failures. My first day of school, the first day of school in the state of New Jersey, guess where I was? I was behind a register. Guess where the register was? Rickle Home Center. How do you think I felt? That big. Horrible feeling. Horrible feeling. I was devastated. I'm not a crier. I teared up on that day. That was a tough day. That was a tough pill to swallow because I said to myself, what in the world? There are people out there I know that got jobs that are not even half the teacher I am. Now, that was a little bit of the arrogant side of me, though, too. But you know what, though? They're not half the person I was. They were better than I was. You know what? They got the jobs. All right, maybe some of them knew someone, but you know what? Some other people didn't know someone. And they got the jobs anyway. You know why? They were better prepared for their interviews. And I wasn't. Failure. So then I applied the following year for more jobs. Still didn't get anything. That's right. 2 years, no full-time work. I wound up taking a part-time position. Wouldn't really consider it much of a teaching position. It was kind of a side type of thing. And it really wasn't the best situation. And I decided, I got to get a full-time job. That has to happen. So I finally, my third year out of college, I finally netted my full-time job. But I had a choice between two places. Now, the first place was in New York. It was just over the Tappan Zee Bridge in a town called Sleepy Hollow, Tarrytown, New York. And I went in and I bombed my audition. I bombed my interview. Do you know? And yes, I'm aware of the time and I appreciate it. I know it's 7:46, but I want to make this point though. I bombed my audition. And that night, there was a person that was in that interview who called me up on the phone. I am quite sure that it's one thing to call someone up on the phone to let them know they're coming back. I'm quite sure what that person shared with me on the phone is not something that you would usually share with a candidate on the phone. And I am forever grateful to him for this. He said to me, Tim, he said, we're putting you through. Out of 6 candidates they're going through, you're number 6. And I had to fight for you because I believe in you. There's something I see in you. But I'm going to tell you right now, your interview was awful. You didn't answer this correctly. You didn't answer this correctly. He gave me all the tips on everything I did wrong. And he told me, if you don't get a job here, I want you to do this right. He didn't have to do that for me. I'm never going to forget that. That's why I do the things that I do for my students. That's why I do this for other people, because I had people that believed in me. And he said, I'm putting you through to the next round. I said, what's the next round? He says, a demonstration lesson in front of a class. And I said to myself inside, bring it on. Because I'm going to have those kids right there out of the palm of my hand. They gave me the toughest class in the school. And those kids were like this. They were totally engaged in the lesson. I went from candidate number 6 to candidate number 1, like that. And ultimately, in the end, I did not take that job. And there are other reasons why I did not accept it. I really wanted another job. One big reason is I still wanted to be in New Jersey. And I wound up being in a district for 15 years. I had the greatest time there. And there was a time that I needed to move on. And was I perfect at that job? Absolutely not. No teacher's perfect at their job. Everybody makes mistakes. And you own it. And you go through your failures and you learn from them. And I say to the students that I teach right now, and I say to all of you right now, I am in front of you right now because of failures. And don't you forget it. I am in front of you because of all the things that have gone wrong in my life. That's why this podcast is happening. That's why I am totally comfortable sharing with the world and not having any fear in letting you know that I take total ownership of everything that's happened in my life. And for my students out there, it is such an honor and a privilege to teach you every single day. And I thank you for that opportunity. And I'm so very grateful for where I work. I think it's time to answer some questions. So I'm going to take a look here to see if my great friend Alice has given me some questions. Okay, so the first one I have here is from Roberto. And this is the time for your questions. You need to chime in. Ask me. Come on. I have no problem just letting you know exactly where I stand with these things. And I want to be able to help you out as best as possible. So the first one here is from Roberto. And the question is, isn't failure a lesson that all people go through so they can make that failure a success? Yes, with kind of a but that's involved here. Yes, it becomes a success if you learn from it. I'll give you a classic example. One of the biggest problems in my life, ever since I was a small, little Mr. R, I guess is what my students call me. All right. One of my biggest problems throughout my life was being on time for things. It's just an issue that I had. I had that issue my entire life, and I'm still not perfect. I'm not perfect. I still have my moments. But I will tell you that I have had to learn a lot of things the hard way. I still say to this day, I think that, and I say this to parents especially, my father, he just wanted to do the best for me. And he just wanted to make sure that I got to school. But the stress and the gray hair that I put on that man's head by not getting up in the morning drove him certifiably crazy and I think insane. And I've apologized so many times to him for it. And he just kind of laughs it off, but it really isn't funny. And when you're late to things, it's disrespectful. There's no other way to put it. And I've apologized. I've gone back to people many times and I've said, I apologize for the things I've been late for. I make it a point to make sure these podcasts start at 7:00. You tuned in at 7:00. I value your time. I value you. I care about you. I don't want you to be wasting your time. Are we going to run over tonight? Yeah, we probably are. You know why? Because I'm having fun. Are you having fun? Help me out here in the chat. Are you having any fun tonight? Do we go a little bit past 8:00 tonight? What do you think? Tell me in the chat. I want to hear from you. Did you put some comments below? Yeah, that's right. We want to keep on doing this because this is a fun thing to do. Darn it. But, you have to learn from your failures. That's the whole thing. You can't keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. You can't keep making those mistakes because if you make them making mistakes, you're not learning. This past week, there were two students of mine. I had these two students of mine, and it's a good, I'll just say that it's a good thing they're not listening right now. It's a good thing they're not listening in the chat right now. But, there are these two students I had, and these two students, they messed up badly. And the thing is, are you going to learn from the failures? Are you going to learn from them? And are you going to become successful? Or are you going to keep on messing up like over and over? Then go back to Roberto. Your failure, you're not becoming a success then. You keep on failing over and over, and it's a cycle. That's no good. Okay, so to become the success, you have to learn from your mistakes. All right, let's take a look at Sean. So Sean said, I try my hardest to keep trying and succeeding. But I apologize for any mistakes I hear, but things keep on going downhill. What's the best result in helping to keep together and make sure I keep succeeding? Here's the thing I'm going to tell you, Sean. You are going to fail more than you're going to succeed. The most important thing that I keep on saying to people over and over, you have to be informed. You have to be educated. You have to be working hard all the time. You have to be working hard. You can't have days off. I come back to that episode, the episode we did before. If you have decided that you are going to become a chef every single moment of every single day, well, maybe not every single moment, but every single day should be committed in some type of way to your craft. Because if you don't do it, someone else out there is doing it. So I'm telling you, if you work hard, things are going to fall into place. But if you take the time off and socializing takes over, you're selling yourself short. I'm not telling you to not socialize with people. I do. I have my friends that I rely on, that I talk to all the time. Those people that are they're my rocks. They're people that are very important in my life. But at the same time, it can't take over your life. And this is where things like Snapchat, things like Instagram, Facebook, and other forms of social media, it's not good when it's overruling your life. And it's not healthy. And I say this, sometimes people worry about, are you going to lose a friend? Are you going to lose your relationship? If those people truly value you, they're going to understand you've got to get stuff done. I got to get stuff done. And then you in return say to them, you got to get stuff done too. And I wish I had more people that would have told me that before. But I'm learning now. My brain is working better than ever. Doesn't matter how old I'm getting. Doesn't matter if I get a little gray hair. Yeah, I got it going on. And yeah, I still have no idea what I'm doing about this big quaff on top of my head. I'll take suggestions on that later on. So, Sean, you're going to have more failures than successes. You got to understand that. Just accept that you're going to have failures. You can't get down on yourself every single time. And I'll say one more thing before I get to the next question. One more thing. This is so important. The biggest problem with today's society, hands down, the biggest problem with today's society is we reward people for things that they should not be rewarded for. It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. We reward mediocrity. People not trying their hardest. We give them awards for not trying hard. No, that's not how life works. That's not how life operates. And you know what? There are going to be times you're going to try hard, and that's totally fine. You're going to try hard, and you're not going to win. That's life. I play poker. I love to play poker. For years and years and years and years and years, I played so many hours. I'm not talking hundreds, I'm talking thousands of hours I put in. Do you have any idea how much heartbreak was involved with that? You know how many times I'd be so upset because the things didn't go my way? My goodness. No, I'm not a gambler, Hansel. Get that out of your system. I knew someone was going to type it. Not a gambler. Well, maybe a long time ago, but not now, though. I only play poker, and poker is a skill game. And let me tell you something. No greater achievement in my life. And I'm proud of this. And you can Google me and you can check it out. 2015, January to be exact. I won a tournament. And it was a huge tournament. It was for a lot of money. And I don't care about the money. Yeah, the money was nice. I don't care about the money. I care that I won. First place, baby. Bring it this way. I'll show you the trophy next podcast. I'm proud of that. I could take that to my grave. But don't you think for a minute that I didn't have to go through failure after failure after failure before I achieved that success. I can die knowing that I won a tournament and I was number one on that day. What a feeling. And ironically enough, someone who watches this podcast a little later on, because she's on her shift right now, I just got done telling her, I said, when I go back, I am going to win again. It's going to happen. Positive mindset. All right, let's get some other questions here. Bella. How did you pick yourself up after you failed, and what made you keep on going? Great question. So, how do you pick yourself up? You need a support team. You need people that are going to be around you. It cannot just be friends. I cannot stress enough finding teachers, finding trusted adults, family members. They're the best people. And here's why. Your friends are only going to be able to help you to a point. It's very simple. Your friends only have so much experience. If you are 14 years old and your other friends are all 14 years old, or 15, or 16, or even 17, they only have so much experience. People that are older just have gone through more things in their lives. What I knew when I was 14, as opposed to 24, as opposed to 34, and especially as opposed to when I was 44, I've grown so much just in the past 2 years alone. Exponentially, I have grown as a person and trying to do different things to challenge myself and to push myself in becoming better and better and better every single day. That's the key. That's the key. So I implore and I say to all of you out there, find those people that you trust, find those people in your inner circles, people out there who you know are going to be able to pick you up when you need it the most. That's critical. All right, Esther, how did failure shape you into the person you are right now? I did mention it before, but I'm going to give you a big failure I had. I'm going to type in a word. You're going to be shocked. Unapproachable. I consider myself to be very unapproachable by people. I consider myself, one of my students made a great quote today. It made me so happy. I had said something about the fact that my hair was a hot mess, something along those lines. And she said, we need your hot mess hair to be able to match your bright personality. I thought that was just such a nice thing. It was a really nice thing that the student had said to me. But, when I think of that word, unapproachable, my first 2 years of teaching, I was, I think, a nice teacher. I think I had myself pretty well together. But outside of the classroom, as a musician, as a professional musician, I had this swagger and I had this arrogance about me. And I think it really rubbed people the wrong way. I think it bothered some people. And I was running a community band at that time. I started this community band from scratch. I had founded it. I was the director. And I had a group of people that I trusted. And after my second year, there was something that didn't feel right. And before we started the third year, I was in the room with these trusted people. And I said to them, I said, listen, I'm asking you. Something doesn't feel right. We have some people that are not returning to the band this year. Something's wrong. Can you help me? And they said, can you handle the truth? And I said, I can. You know the movie, right? You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. Okay. Jack Nicholson. I said, yeah, I can take it. And they said, you're unapproachable. People are scared to say things to you. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Never even hit me. I said, really? They said, yeah. I said, you gotta really think this through. And I had to change myself. So I think that was one of the biggest changes in my life that really changed a lot of things that I did with my teaching and with me as a musician. And I really took a step back and became a lot more humble and a lot more modest and didn't try to act like a know-it-all and took people's suggestions. And I started listening to people more and stopped just, saying that this is the way that things are going to be. No, just shut your mouth and listen to other people. There are some other things that they have to say. All right, let's see. Mabel. If I slip up from a marking period and want to pick it up, meaning want to pick up their grades, what would be the best ways to make better changes than just standard changes? All right, you're not going to love this answer. The reason you're in that situation to begin with was because of the decisions you already made. If you just take care of business from the beginning of the marking period, you don't have these problems. You just don't. If you stay on top of your work, you'll be fine. Trust me. I'm in graduate school right now. I'm wrapping up my master's degree. I have 3 gigantic projects due this Sunday. I'm not waiting until Sunday anymore. I used to do that even a few months ago. I'd wait till Sunday. No, I'm going to be starting them tonight. As soon as this podcast is done, I'm going to be typing away on the computer. Am I looking forward to it? I got to be honest, I'm not. I got to be up for school early tomorrow, but I got to work tonight too. And as soon as school ends tomorrow, I got to work on it again. So I think the thing I have to say to you, unfortunately, is try not to put yourself in there to begin with. If you were, a lot of you are in your third marking period, wrapping up right now, marking period 4, come on in like a ball of fire. Did you approach your teacher? Did you own your situation? I think a lot of students don't do that. I think you need to go up to that teacher. You need to go in and say, listen, I'm going to turn this around. And some teachers are not going to be sold on it, especially if you've not had the best marking period or 2 marking periods or 3 marking periods. Okay, let's take a look at, we've got 2 more here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Oh, no, those are all the questions. Does anybody else have any other questions? Do we have maybe 1 or 2 more? I'd be happy to answer them real quick. And then we will hand out our awards tonight here, of course, for the gift cards that we have, of course. Our Amazon one. I don't even know where that Amazon thing went. Is it under here? What did I do with it? It's bothering me right now. Give me a second. I must find my Amazon gift card. I know it's here. Where did you go? Did you fall on the floor? I don't know. I don't know where the Amazon gift card went, but it's coming. Don't worry. Not to worry. But we definitely know that this is absolutely coming. I'm just going to put it in front of my face because I can. Yeah, I think that's a great picture. I like that picture. All right. So, any more questions? Do we have anything else here? Teach you some ways for succeeding. It would take a long time to go through everything involved at that, but hopefully, the things that I went through on this episode are going to be able to help you out. Okay, we're going to answer one more that Bella has here. How did I deal with my failures? Some tears, definitely. There's nothing wrong, by the way, with having a good cry about it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's human. That's okay. That's fine. Totally and completely acceptable. You might need to yell. You might need to scream. But what I would say is you don't want to go into that place like where you feel yourself going into like that dark place where you feel like you can't get out. And then you start to get yourself into a rut and hopefully not to the point of getting depressed. That's what we want to try to avoid. If you find yourself in that situation, then it could be something a little more severe beyond just failure in terms of wanting to succeed. All right. All right. So it looks like we are all set to go. And I appreciate so much. Okay. Eliza has one. Eliza has a question. Okay. Eliza, I'll give you the last question for the night. So I'll wait for Eliza's question. Let's see what she's got there. And I appreciate what everyone has contributed, as always, to this chat. And again, please continue to subscribe and share and like. Hopefully you liked the episode. You put some comments below. Please, please do that. And make sure that you're spreading the word. Again, our live podcasts can only last with your support. And we certainly need more people to be involved in the chat each night. It's great to see so many loyal people, but we want more people, again, to spread the word. So continue to do that. Hopefully you had a chance to check out episodes 262 earlier this evening, which had to do with differentiation in music education. It's a wonderful episode on the things that we as music teachers and teachers in general do in the classroom to modify instruction for students who might be special learners, may need special types of things done for them to succeed in the classroom. Okay, did we get that question? Where is Eliza? Okay, go crazy, go stupid. Let's see. Still waiting for Eliza's question. Is that the question? That was it? Go crazy or go stupid? Go crazy. Yeah, I said go crazy. All right. Are we ready for some gift cards? Anybody out there ready for some gift cards? Say yes. Say hello. Yes. Where are you? Here we go. I'm Michael from third period. Well, hello, Michael from third period. Michael, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Is anybody interested in any gift cards? Anyone want any gift cards tonight? Because we are going to be doing the Amazon gift card second. And then, of course, the Mickey D's will be going first. Again, that will be a $10 McDonald's gift card going out tonight and a $15 Amazon gift card. We do have both of our winners here. So let's see where we are at. Okay, so it looks like we have found our winners. My whole generator has occurred here, and Alice threw everything up. Can we give a big shout out to Alice? Can you help me out? Thank you. Yay to Alice, as always, for doing an amazing job. Hopefully, in the very, very, very near future, Ian will be able to join us again. He does always watch these faithfully as soon as he gets home, but he does have a lot of musical commitments going on. So please, a big, big thank you for Alice. Thank you so, so much. Okay, here we go. Are we ready? Are we ready? And here we go. We are going for the McDonald's old school logo. There it is right there. McDonald's hamburgers. Yeah, it looked like that for the longest time. Billions and billions served. $10 gift card tonight going to, drum roll, please. Help me out. Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Can you do it? Can you do it? Let's see. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Little drum roll action. There's one. Just Nice is always there to help me out. Rebecca helping me out. Thank you so much. Here it is. Ching! Isabella Heiser is getting the $10 McDonald's gift card. It is happening. Bella, congratulations to you on winning the $10 gift card to McDonald's tonight. And I had this funny feeling it's probably going to be spent very, very quickly if I know her well enough. So congratulations to Bella on winning that gift card tonight. Okay, and we move on to the $15 Amazon gift card. $15 Amazon gift card. Are we ready? I'm sorry that I don't have it here, but you know that I'm good for it. $15 Amazon gift card. Can I get a huge drum roll? Huge drum roll. Let's see. Let's see. You don't have to thank me, Bella. Thank yourself for being involved. Let's go get to the drum roll. Drum roll. Here we go. Here we go. Who wants that Amazon gift card? Who wants it? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. My favorite person with the Korean lettering, and that would happen to be Francesca. Francesca, congratulations. You have won the $15 Amazon gift card for tonight. And yes, she is the one with all of that Korean lettering. So if you're wondering who that is Francesca, and we're going to get her name spelled correctly as well as Bella's. So congratulations to Bella. And of course, we have to say congratulations to Francesca, and we're not going to get that spelled wrong. No way, not going to happen. Congratulations to her on the $15 Amazon gift card. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for an amazing podcast tonight. I appreciate all your support, all your love. Again, please spread the word. We need more people to get the message because we are doing amazing things here. You can change lives with these episodes. You know that. Okay, and never ever forget, the wealthiest people in the world are not the people with all the money. The wealthiest people in the world are the people who look within themselves, and it comes straight from their heart. Peace.